ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow Fijians. A few months ago, I announced to the people of Fiji that we are conducting a Restore Blue initiative. In it, I outlined the fact that for a long time, the Fiji police force had become a security wing serving the interests of the state. We realized that this had to change. The police is a service, and it must hold true to its own motto, to serve the people. Good policy process requires patience and time, but most importantly, it requires research and asking the people that would be affected by policy their views. A proper identification of the problem is key to this process. The problem is professionalism. And this is not the fault of the hardworking police officers on the ground. It was a systemic problem that could only be solved with systemic change. Fiji is fortunate to have development partners that care deeply about our progress and about our journey towards a proper representative democracy with an efficient and reliable police service. Now, last week, I traveled to Australia with the Australian High Commissioner, His Excellency Ewan MacDonald, to progress discussions with the Australian Federal Police, that is the Commissioner Rhys Kershaw and Deputy Commissioner Les Gale, on how we can work together to strengthen the capability of the Fiji Police Force. I also had the opportunity to meet with both Foreign Minister, Senator the Honourable Penny Wong, and the Minister for International Development and the Pacific, the Honourable Pat Conroy, where we had a good discussions on our joint priorities, including support for Fiji policing. Fijians will have heard me speak previously about the need to restore the police to its rightful place, where the people of Fiji can be confident in the professionalism and the integrity of our police force. Today, I would like to announce that I intend to implement a full reset of the Fiji Police Force. Now, this reset will have several components. First, it will be guided by the development of a new overarching strategy for the Fiji Police Force. This strategy will identify key priorities and the core values that are essential building blocks to a high-performing police force to shape the way forward. We have discussed that Fiji and Australia will work towards establishing a new Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, between the Fiji Police Force and the Australian Federal Police to incorporate our enhanced relationships. Now, the new MOU will supersede the previous MOU that was signed in 2022. This new agreement will facilitate closer cooperation through a number of avenues, including police exchanges between Fiji and Australia, starting at the executive level. We will now commence development of this new MOU as a key priority. Once complete, I will present this new MOU to Cabinet for consideration and endorsement before it is signed with Australia. The new ties established through this agreement are a key component of the reset. They will strengthen the ability of the Fiji Police Force to respond to the needs of the Fijian people. Australia will also provide several individuals to be embedded within the Fiji Police Force to help build capacity. This may be in areas such as intelligence, human resources, and strategic and operational planning. I also intend to appoint a mentor to provide support to the new police commissioner once this appointment is made. As I have said previously, the urgency to appoint a new police commissioner is recognized, and the government is actively working towards a resolution. I also toured a specialist Australian Federal Police training facility while in Australia And I'm excited about the proposed opportunities the Pacific Policing Initiative offers Fiji and the Pacific. We will explore sending members of the Fiji Police Force to this training facility to build expertise in several capabilities, including tactical and public order operations, but to also contribute to a joint capability which would be developed to respond to Pacific needs. This reset represents the next phase in the Restore Blue initiative, a multifaceted strategy aimed at enhancing the effectiveness and integrity of Fiji's laws enforcement agencies, including the Fiji Police Force. I will continue to work on building within the Fiji Police Force a culture of professionalism, guided by the principles of justice, human rights, and the rule of law. I am pleased to be partnering with Australia as we implement this reset. It is another great example of our growing cooperation under the renewed and elevated Wuwale Partnership. The Fiji Police Force requires generational change, which will be achieved by resetting the core values of the Fiji Police Force. These core values will shift the culture and expectations immediately and into the future. This organizational transformation will be driven by the new commissioner once they are formally announced. The Fiji Police Force will be bound by a code of conduct, which is fundamental to upholding the professional standards expected of the Fiji Police Force by the citizens of our country. All Fiji Police Force members will act with fairness, reasonableness, courtesy, respect, and without discrimination or harassment in the course of their duties. All members will be held accountable for their work and actions as a Fijian police officer. The Fiji Police Force will be transparent in all facets of their policing duties, and members not complying will not be tolerated. Core values and a code of conduct will ultimately drive the future strategy of the Fiji Police Force and will build community confidence of the police, build prosperous and meaningful engagement with the community, instill integrity of the highest order within the police, enhance relationships and outcomes with other Fijian government bodies, and deliver operational outcomes for the benefit of the whole of Fiji and our wider Pacific brothers and sisters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you should take confidence that the systems and controls in identifying non-compliant behavior are working, as witnessed with high-profile matters over the last few weeks. The efficiency and effectiveness of these controls will be reviewed moving forward. The government is dedicated to making the right choices for the future of our law enforcement and the safety of our nation. Before I conclude, I, at this stage, would like to note my and our government's sincere appreciations to all our stakeholders that are helping us in keeping Fijians safe. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the role that is being played by UNODC, the New Zealand government, the Australian government, and in particular the Australian Federal Police, and also the New Zealand Federal Police. Navalio.
Pranita from FBC News. When will the new police commissioner be appointed, and will that person be a local person? And also in terms of the reset that you have mentioned, will there be changes to senior positions as well, roles?
Thank you. In terms of the first part of the question, the appointment of the police commissioner is the prerogative of the Constitutional Officers Commission. As I noted in my intervention today, that I have asked the COC to act on it quickly, especially that the role of the new commissioner is important for this particular initiative that I have just announced. And with regards to whoever that will be appointed, that is a matter for the COC to decide. See, the strategy is what we are working at. Okay, I'm not going to. I understand what the outcome that we want to achieve, and that is bringing professionalism to the police. This is something that the police really needs to relook at. I've announced the initiative in terms of the principles that we need to achieve, and anything is, possible within that. Okay? Now, I have not shied away from airing my concerns about the level of professionalism in the police. So we need to do something about that. So, and we want to keep an open mind about it, and let that be part of the process.
Rashika from Fiji Village News. Just slightly deviating from the topic here, would you be able to elaborate on the Narcotics Bureau that's going to be set up? Also, how would it be set up, and why the procedures and processes in place, and how would it be coming under your ministry? And would the setup be somewhat like what 5K is right now?
Okay, thank you. In its latest sitting, Cabinet had endorsed the establishment of the Narcotics Bureau and also the anti-narcotic strategy. Now, this is a new organization that's going to be based in the ministry, and it is primarily dedicated for the war against drugs. Okay. And in it are certain strategies, particularly pillars that we want to follow, based on international principles, the rule of law, and the practice in other jurisdictions that we want to learn from, in particular Singapore, and in Australia and New Zealand, how they do it. Now, I do not need to tell you why we need to do this, because there is a need for government to move in, now in a big way. We are going in a big way. We've done many things to be able to deal with drug issue, but more at a concerted level for government. The establishment of the Bureau is going to coordinate most of the government effort to do with, dealing with our drug issue. Drug, as I've said, is a national issue. It requires a whole of a nation solution. I've said earlier that this is not a government problem alone. Government does not have all the answers. But government needs to lead it. And we are leading it through this bureau. We want to be seen to be doing something about it holistically. Okay? So it's dealing with the areas of harm reduction, demand reduction, supply reduction, and the prosecution of those that, indulge in this business. There's been some call of some very, very drastic actions to be taken. There needs to be a discussion on this. But this is the beginning of it. Drug did not start yesterday. Our present explains a lot about what our past has been. And we want to do something about it, Talking about the past right now is not as important about talking about the way forward. This is the way forward. So hopefully through this initiative and through this process, we will be able to coordinate better as a whole of nation in terms of how we deal with our drug problems, and hopefully, in as much as we can, to eradicate this problem.
So just to follow up on that, since it's going to be coming under your ministry, there's a chance that it could become a politicized position. How could you ensure that it's not politicized, and that the person on top, who will be looking after the bureau, is not political or is not corrupt, since it is an issue within the police force, some might say. And also,
take that one first. Okay. All right. You are raising some very important issues. Confidence is important. People need to trust the system that this is, a move in the right direction by government to do this. So people that are there are important. The leader we expect at this stage is to come from abroad, someone who is an expert. But we're looking at also a local understudy to make sure that when this person leaves, we will have someone that will take over this particular role. So they will be working well together. But obviously, as I said, confidence and trust is important, but we want to make sure we start with a clean slate. So, and Politics is in everything. The government is political. Okay? Any which way government makes a decision, there's always a political angle to it. But this one, we will make sure that the establishment of this organization is about attacking, this problem that we have, and the issue is drugs, and it's in narcotics. So we want to make sure the right people are appointed to it.
So what will become of the narcotics bureau within the Fiji Police Force?
That will be incorporated into this department.
Thank you. Can we move on to the next question, next media organization, please?
Lydia Mavona from the ABC. Just carrying on from my colleague Rashika's questions to do with confidence in the police force. How corrupt is the Fiji police force, and how effective do you think this blue reset is going to be in tackling this corruption issue within the Fiji police force?
The police force is a great organization. It keeps us safe. We want to build the police force into better heights. There are people, individuals within the police force who do things that we are not proud of. We need to get rid of those people. But as an organization, government is responsible for it so that people can be confident in it. People can trust it. And we acknowledge that, that the police has problems. I've acknowledged it today. This is one way to reset it, to make it better. And I announced this initiative from the Restore Blue from the very beginning of my work. This is a continuation of that. Government does not have all the solutions, which is why we're reaching out to people who are experts in this and have done work about the police force, not only about drugs, but in every aspect of police work that deals with looking after our people. So I would like to say the police force is a great force. There are people there who are Fijians, people who have good intentions about our people. Unfortunately, amidst the rest of us, there are also bad people. There are also bad apples. But we must do something. We have to do something to make sure that the police force is fit for its role.
How bad are these bad apples? How much pushback do you expect from these bad apples, as you call it?
Nothing, not really. I'm confident that this reform is going to go through. It's only a very small and minor community. It's not even an issue, as far as I'm concerned. But the more important thing is what we are doing with it, and we're doing something about it.
The Narcotics Bureau, will it be what do you call it when they come from different defense agencies?
The Narcotics Bureau includes every element of government. There are specific roles. I'm talking about certain pillars where different governments contribute to. But it will be housed here within the Ministry of Home Affairs. That's where it will be led from. A national effort that coordinates all of our national anti-drug enforcement process and effort. Government taking the lead, but includes everybody. That's the whole thing about this.
Will there be an enforcement agency as well? And do you already have the necessary legislative framework to give them the powers to do this work?
Well, that's what we are looking at. This is going to be a Narcotics Bureau. We're looking at the models that are there out there in the world. We have the police who are enforcing it today under their powers. There are places like FICAC who are also doing matters of investigation through that, DPP, even in customs and and in immigration that relate directly to this. But in terms of the Narcotic Bureau in itself, this is a new organization to Fiji. It's not new everywhere else, and we're actually we're quite we're fortunate that there are models out there that we can also emulate. The need is present, and we're doing so much about it. There's $2.5 million that's allocated for it in the next coming budget. Government is fully committed to this process, So that's why we are setting it up, yeah.
Naka, Mr. Tikoduadua, Inoki here from the Fiji Sun. There's the new agreement you just mentioned will include police exchanges between Fiji and Australia starting at the executive level. Just in terms of confidence, we are going to soon announce a new compol, but the team that is behind leading with the Commissioner of Police, how confident are you in their leadership, and is it them that we would see changes with our Australian counterparts coming in?
Yeah, the Australian counterparts are coming here as mentor for those who will be leaders in the police force who are Fijians. Okay. The whole reason of the reset, as the question that was posed earlier, is looking at everything across the whole police force, and that includes the leadership too. And that's part of the review. That as you said, confidence building is important, and we need to first build confidence in the leadership of our police force.
So my question was, how confident are you in the leadership team that is currently there behind the compol? Because we've seen there have been a lot of complaints. Let's start at them, and there's just public is just losing confidence on the team that is leading behind the compol.
This is a holistic review. This is a holistic review that needs to review part of that process, reviewing the leadership as it is. Okay. How I feel about it is reflected in the need that I need to review it. And whatever comes out of the review is a process that's holistic enough to look at those that are leading the force right now. This is why the new compol is essential to this process, because he will drive that.
Bulabinaka, my name is Meronim from Fiji News. So just in terms of, you mentioned about the problem is professionalism. Why do you see this, and what do you hope to achieve from this reset?
Yeah. The police force is a force, and there are standards, professional standards that is associated with that. Professional doctors, nurses, soldiers, police. Okay. That has been questioned in a very big way in the past. Everyone's got their own issues. It's out there in the public domain. The thing is, I want to restore confidence now in the force, for people to trust it, And that needs a completely new reset, you know what I mean? So that looks at the leadership as well. And hopefully at the end of the day, that, that there are processes in place, particularly about conduct and all that, that helps to build, and in this case restore, and continue to maintain the level of professionalism in the Fiji police force. So that is, at the center and at the heart of this reform that we want to do.
Bula Wata from Fiji Times. Just following up on the first question on the appointment of a new compol. You mentioned that you'll be intending on appointing a mentor. Will this mentor be from a local one, from within the organization, or overseas? From outside. What exactly is the role? Will he be helping? What exactly will he be helping the new compol with?
Yeah, his job is in that role. He's a mentor.
What exactly are some
He's
of
going
his...
to mentor him in the role of how to be a commissioner, how to be a good commissioner in this reset.
So are you not confident a local person can, why do you think the new compol need a mentor? Are you not confident in the one?
The commissioner is a local. Okay. And he will need some guidance at the beginning. It's not going to be a full-time job. Okay. At the beginning, to be able to help him implement this reset according to the intentions of government and how it views as a representative of the people, and how it views how his job should be carried out that is aspired in the law and in the Constitution today. He will need help. This Fijian will need help, like we all do. And he is there. He is there really to add, to add to his ability, to add to, particularly in his capability to be able to lead. Okay, and it's important for him at this reset period, to to have as a guide, as a mentor, someone, to help him along at the beginning, make him understand, the whole discussions that they'll be holding together on how to move the police force forward. And, it'll be a professional person who has held that job already. So
I guess why we're asking is the last previous compols, the last 3 or 4, have not required a mentor. Where is this coming from? Is this a government suggestion that they have a mentor, or has the office of the compol asked for one? Why do you think a person heading our police force needs a mentor?
This is a reset, like I said. Okay. What you're talking about is what has been. We know there are issues with that. We want to reset it. Okay. And there are good models to follow. The new compol will need as much help as possible, professional help, to be able to reset the police in the direction to which it will go. A direction that will then restore in as little time as possible as we can. This is a process to bring back confidence and trust in our Fiji police force, by our own Fijian people. That's the reason for it. It's a reset. It's a new direction in which this is going to go.
What are the KPIs for this research? Or when will we know that you've been happy with the results?
That will be announced in due course. I'm just here at the moment to say that this is what is going to happen.